Loud. All right, well, welcome everyone. My name is Missy Hides. I am an independent consultant with Arbonne. I am also your National Vice President. And this is a special team huddle. I'm calling it the Maui edition because we just got home from the leadership retreat leadership conference in Maui. And for those of you that are new and maybe you don't even know yet that this is a perk of being with the company and building your business to the very top, every January, Arbonne flies out and pays for the accommodations of all national vice presidents. And we get to go to Maui for a week. We left on Monday. We flew home yesterday. And I can just tell you guys, it is the most amazing experience I think that I have probably had in my Arbonne business, really outside of seeing people promote and like the fun of all that. But as far as just kind of conference level, leadership level, lots of people, because this was my first time, were asking like, you know, my thoughts or how I was feeling about it. And I just kept telling them that it felt very surreal. And two, I had to keep reminding myself that everybody that was there, you know, other than spouses and kiddos, but every Arbonne consultant that was there is a national vice president or an executive national vice president. And there are over 400 of them. And so you just have to know that this is not anything where there's only a select few or maybe you have to get in on the ground floor. Arbonne is celebrating 40 years right now, and I can tell you that there has never been a better time to be building a business with this company. There was a gal, she's an ENVP, and she said that people will comment to her that she's being successful because she got in when Arbonne was, she got in early. And she just went on to make a really cool post about how she wasn't even born when Arbonne started, and she didn't even find out about Arbonne until she was 26. And then she said no for 3 years. And so she's like, I've only been in the business for 11 years. So to say that she got in at the beginning is actually, you know, obviously a silly term or idea. And the same can be true for every single one of us. So I don't want you ever to feel like, oh, I've missed the boat, or, oh, this isn't my time, or I should have gotten in sooner. I can just tell you, even in the time I've been with the company, it's better than it used to be. And after leaving this meeting, it's just affirmed that to me more and more. So I want to give you guys a recap of a couple things. I want to share with you some of the information that I can that came from our CEO. His name is Jean David, and he is incredible. And then I want to share some just nuggets from a couple of the trainers, and the trainers were other national vice presidents or executive national vice presidents. I am going to talk a little bit about new products, and then I'm going to share a little bit about our focus for 2020. So Jean David kicked off our meeting. We had meetings about 2 hours on Tuesday afternoon, and then we had a full day of meetings on Wednesday. We were in meetings from 7:45 till 5:30. So we did put some work in, but it was absolutely well worth it. And one of the core values that Jean David has is transparency and really just communicating with us as the field, and then us communicating to our teams. Because we're all in the field together, right? It doesn't matter if you're a new consultant or if you're a top 10 income earner. This information is vital to your business, really where Arbonne is, where we're going, and some of those key things, okay? And so as a company, in 2019, we did revenue. So as a team total, we did $615 million in sales. The most amazing thing about that statistic, or that fact, not statistic, but fact, is that we actually grew by 100 million from 2018 to 2019, 100 million. That is unheard of. Companies do not do that. We had over 20% growth as a company. Arbonne was about a year or so ago purchased from a company called Group Rocher. It's ROCHE. They were looking for a green global network marketing brand. We are their fastest growing brand. None of their brands, they have, I think, 8 other brands besides us. There's 9 of them. None of them did anywhere near the growth that we did. And they are so blown away, not only by our numbers and what we're doing, but also just who we are as a group. And John DeVee just kept saying that over and over again, that he has just been blown away by the culture and the people, the caliber of leadership, all of those things. And so just know I share that so that you understand that you are absolutely positioned to in the right place at the right time. The vision still is obviously to grow to be $1 billion company and then on to a $2 billion company. But we're pacing absolutely in the right way. I think that you guys saw me mention somewhere on the Facebook team page or maybe on my live that they're actually moving resorts for the next NVP leadership meeting because they're anticipating that much more growth. I think we had 67 of us that were new NVPs this year, or 72, somewhere in there. I can't remember the exact number at this moment, but that was almost double from what they saw last year. Okay. And so they're definitely anticipating that kind of growth, and I am as well. So one of his biggest calls to action for us as the field as consultants was to grow our width. Okay. So I loved that. That was absolutely something that I felt needed to be emphasized for 2020 for us as a team. And there's another trainer that I'm going to share a little one of her nuggets, and it was the same thing. But growing your width, for those of you maybe that are new in the business or newer, growing your width is how you most quickly grow your paycheck. There's no cap in Arbonne on how wide you can be. And that width comes from working personally. The depth, so if you have, say, a consultant who sponsors a consultant, who sponsors a consultant, who sponsors a consultant, you want that as well. That's absolutely awesome. Because what the depth does, if you don't know this, is the depth really creates security in your business. Because statistically, they've shown that if someone sponsors someone else, that person is much less likely to quit the business if they've got a teammate, right? Or if they promote to district manager, the percentage of them growing onto area and then VP is much higher as soon as they can help somebody else promote to district. So they become that executive district manager. So the depth really helps shore up your security of your legs of business, your team, but your width is what will grow and fatten your paycheck. And the width comes from you personally sharing the mission and the message of Arbonne, you personally sponsoring, you personally being in activity. And as the CEO of the company, that's what he was telling the top income earners, which are those NVPs. And so that is across the board. And he was just really, he's just got this really cool, calm and gentle spirit about him, but he's also very decisive, a great decision maker, a great leader, a visionary. And he just said, this is what I want for everyone that's in Arbonne. I want them to get bigger paychecks because, as we have talked about before, bigger paychecks create more choices, creates, less stress. And so that will come when you work personally. So working personally and growing the width of your business is really, for all of us, going to be one of the things we're going to focus on for 2020. Okay, and then the last thing that I wanted to share that from what he shared was that because he is committed to being very transparent, there were kind of 2 topics that Arbonne has gotten a lot of questions about, and he just wanted to address them. The first is that we as a company will not be pursuing any sort of CBD oil. Okay, I know that people get excited and they want like different categories of products that we don't currently have, and CBD has been one of them that kind of keeps populating and keeps being asked about. But at this point, in order to produce like an effective CBD oil, you have to be a medical company, and we are not a medical company. We don't want to be a medical company or a pharmaceutical company. And so if you have people that ask you, or new teammates that come on, they're like, what about CBD oil? It's an awesome product. I don't personally use it, but I do know people that have had great results using it. But we as Arbonne will not be doing CBD. Okay. The other thing, and this is a little sad for me, and any of you that have been at Arbonne for longer than 2 years, the ready to drink shakes are no longer ever going to come back. Because of the amount that we would be selling, and we're not primarily like a ready to drink shake company, it's very difficult to create them at a cost effective level for our clients. And then the other thing, because Arbonne is committed to being zero waste, they're a very wasteful product with packaging. They're very expensive to ship. They're very heavy to ship, all of those things. So I know I have people who have been waiting over 2 years for ready to drink shakes, wondering when they're coming back. And I have to tell them that they are not coming back. So if you are sad about that, I totally understand. But just maybe communicate that to some of your clients that have been wondering about ready to drink shakes. Okay. And if you're totally new, they were just a pre-packaged shake. They were delicious. You could keep them in the fridge. You could stock your fridge. They were awesome. But they're not effective and really on track for the vision that Arbonne has. So those were some of the things that Jean David said. I can tell you guys that I chatted with so many MVPs on this trip, and one after the other, just kept sharing how this was the best MVP leadership meeting they had ever been a part of. And I asked one of them, and she's probably a top 20 income earner, top 25. And I just was being honest, and I said, but do you feel that way every year? Because I know, like, we can go to GTC and we can be like, oh my gosh, that was amazing, right? And then the next year we go back and we're like, oh my gosh, that was more amazing. And so it wasn't that I wasn't wanting to believe them that they were saying that this was the best year yet, but I did kind of wonder, like, do you say this every time, right? And she said, oh my gosh, no. She said there have been years where they would come as the national vice presidents and they would kind of have like perks taken away from them because of, maybe we weren't having enough growth, or just the culture, the vibe wasn't awesome, or they would kind of feel like they were getting scolded or in trouble for things. And she just said it is unlike anything else. And I wanted to read to you all a post from Eunice Ray, who is local here in Louisville. She was the face of RE9. She's in the current catalog, that side profile of the lifting and contouring line. She's an incredible woman. I believe at this point she's 70 years old. And I thought what she posted in the MVP Facebook group was really important to share. And she said, without putting a too fine point on the transformative effect of yesterday's report, so she wrote this the day after the training, and Arbonne's refined company mission presented at Maui, I was reminded of growing up and finding there was a world of couture beyond my mid-range department store experience, a culinary world beyond simple local fare and high-performance automobiles that were mere transportation beyond my Volkswagen Bug. There is another level, like the first time I drove a Ferrari. What I am coming to terms with, or how to say, is Arbonne had a good and sure foundation, but now at 40, with the finishing influence and investment of Groupe Rocher, there has a new sense of discernment and completion, a different level, a needed deep breath of renewed vitality. And I, for one, she was saying this, needed it. Yesterday, every speaker delivered the security we trust found at Arbonne's core, planted by Petter so long ago, and also the hope and renewal planned for the future presented by Jean David, his able team, and of course, Groupe Rocher. I am ready to flourish and confident I will one day pass my business along to the next generation to carry on into the future business because of yesterday. And so I hope that gives you goosebumps. I hope that inspires you. Groupe Rocher has not only a 1-year plan, a 5-year plan for Arbonne a 10-year plan, but they actually already have a 50-year vision and plan for where they believe that we can grow to. And so I loved that post. There were lots of great posts in the group, but I felt like it just really personified where Arbonne is. Like, we've had a great 40 years, but just like everything, realizing that there are finer things, there are more just developed, processes, styles, designs, ways of doing things. That's really where Group Rocher is taking us as a company. And so I hope you guys are excited about that. I hope that just causes you to really dream even bigger and believe for even more for yourself and your teams and your families. So I wanted to just share from 4 of the speakers. I'm going to give you kind of just a 1 or 2 nugget takeaways. We're going to talk new products, and then we're going to get on to our vision for 2020. So the first was an ENVP named Mo Boger. She has an incredible story. You can find her on Facebook. But she talked about some of the things that created a shift. She had 3 shifts that really helped to propel her business from just maintaining at her level to nearly or over, I guess, quadrupling her business in a pretty short amount of time. And one of the things that really was a shift for her was finding an accountability partner. And we're going to be talking a little bit more about that, but she found another sideline VP. She was an ENVP at the time, and she partnered up with an RVP who had goals, and they weren't on the same success line. They were sidelines. And they would just box each other every night, the top 5 things that they would do for their business the next day. And I think she said now they first committed to 30 days and got in a great habit of that, and now have continued it for almost 2 years. And so that really, if you're in a place where you're like, you know what, I would love an accountability partner, not someone to complain to or to sympathize with or to find excuses on, but just to really create that accountability, then that could be a great idea for you. The other thing that she shared was getting clear on her goals. And she shared this quote, and I think the quote actually, she said she got from Debbie Neal is, when a discussion becomes a decision, then the decision doesn't need to be discussed any longer. And you've heard me guys talk about when the switch is flipped, when I can tell someone is moving from district to area or area to region or region to nation, that switch gets flipped. And that's when talking about it becomes a decision. And so the decision actually doesn't need to be talked about anymore. It just needs to be pursued. And so I loved that. This is absolutely the time for you to get clear on the goals that you have for yourself for this year. I think last week I shared that I always really kind of sketch out about 3 to 5 goals for the year that I'm getting very clear on, that I'm pursuing, that I'm always evaluating. Are these decisions, are these things I'm saying yes to, moving me towards and helping me achieve these top 3 or these top 5. The second gal, she is a newer NVP. Her name is Carla Lupa. Again, had a really amazing story, had a lot of challenges. Her training was all really on the comebacks after the setbacks. And I love those stories because I do think they're so relatable. They're so honest and real. And one of the things that she talked about was that in order to move from her setback to her comeback, she had to develop a winning mindset. And what she shared in this quote or nugget was really powerful for me. She said, commitment is required for a winning mindset. Lack of consistency often is rooted in a lack of commitment, which comes from a lack of clarity. And I know that as a team, we've talked a lot about the power and the vitality of creating consistency in our business. And I think for most of us, we would say that consistency is the one thing we want to develop more, that we see that we're inconsistent, that we'll work really hard on our business for a day or a couple days, and then we let several days go by, and then it's like, I got to get back at, doing the routines, right? And I just love that she kind of brought some reasons to why we will often lack consistency, and often because it is lack of commitment, which is rooted in lack of clarity. Like, we don't have a clear vision. We don't have a clear reason why we're doing this business. Our why isn't strong enough to make us cry, or it's not strong enough to make us work. And so because of that, we don't have a commitment to it. And because we don't have a commitment to it, there's no drive to develop the discipline of consistency. And so I loved that. I thought that that was such a powerful thing that I wanted to share with you guys. Carrie Kane, ENVP Carrie Kane, she did a team huddle for us. It's on the YouTube channel. If you haven't ever seen it, go watch it. She is one of my favorite people in all of Arbonne, not because just of how she trains, but just her heart and her character and her integrity. And she shared a lot of amazing stuff, but the biggest thing that stuck out for me, and it was actually the most favorite thing I heard the whole day of training, and I wanted to be a part of our community and who we are, is she said, I will be cheering my loudest when you are shining your brightest. And just about cheering each other on and championing one another, whether it's in your own team, whether it's in a sideline team, whether it's someone that you don't even know that's in Arbonne. My kids were asking all kinds of people that they were meeting, are you on my mom's team? My littler ones were asking, are you on my mom's team? Are you on my mom's team? And it was so cute because obviously, I was there as a national vice president, so I didn't have yet anybody on my team there. That will be different, I believe, next year. But everyone would just say, like, we're all on Team Arbonne. And so I just, I want that to not only be a reflection and a truth for us as a team, that we're cheering each other on when they're, we're cheering our loudest when they're shining their brightest, but that we do that for everybody in Arbonne. That when we see people being recognized on social media, or we meet somebody at GTC, or maybe you are meeting people locally, just celebrate what they're doing, celebrate their yes, celebrate whatever that you can. And really, I just love that. That's to be able to say that quote and live that out shows such integrity and character, that I absolutely knew that I wanted that to be part of who we are as a team. And I think that we do that really well already, but I know that we can do it even better. And then the last training was from ENVP Linda Parker. She's a nuts and bolts lady. She's like the math cruncher, the numbers cruncher. I've always loved Linda Parker. And the two big things that I took away from her that I wanted to share with you all was always asking yourself, who's your next? Who's your next appointment? Who's your next person you're going to sponsor? Who's your next direct district? Who's your next direct area? Who's your next direct VP? And one of the things that she was challenging all of us with was that your next area or your next VP might not even be on your team yet. So that oftentimes we can look at who is currently on our team and look at the consultants and think, well, they're our next districts, right? For sure. Or we can look at our districts and think, well, they're the next areas. And they may or may not be. What is most indicative of who is ready to grow to that next level is sponsoring and their sponsoring numbers, but just always thinking through, processing, being aware of who is my next, who is my next. And this obviously then kind of tied a bow on the whole day, because she ended with really repeating what Jean David said about growing with. And her challenge was for everybody in Arbonne, not just NVPs, but anybody, to grow 8 areas wide. And we're going to talk about that in a minute here, about the reason behind that, the belief behind it, and why I absolutely believe that it is possible. Okay, so that was a little bit from the training in Maui. If you've got questions, comments, thoughts, you guys can put that in the chat box, or you can save it for the end. when we have a little bit of Q&A time. Moving on to new products. This was super, super fun. I've never been at this event before, so I wasn't really sure how this went. But they kind of did it in a cool way where they like sprinkle new products out throughout the day. There's things I can share, things that I can't share. There's things that I will be able to share, obviously all those things. What I can tell you is that in 2020, there are loads of new products, like so many new products. And it's not a bad thing. It's an awesome thing. Some of them I've gotten to see and try. Some of them I have not. So you just kind of have to know that it's all really amazing. There's purpose behind all of it. I can tell you that Arbonne is, as a home office, as a product development team, they're really wanting to communicate well-being, okay? Because wellness is an awesome term, but it's a little overused. The word detox is a little like, people don't love it. It's got weird connotations, but people can really connect with and understand well-being, okay? And so our product focuses, our expansions, our designs, all of those things are going to really be around creating well-being for people, okay? So there's lots of new products. There's lots of new incentives that are coming. Every month that they felt like they would, you know, they showed us the calendar for 2020. And there's different things called activators. There's different things called incentives. Activators are like if you place a $300 product order right now as a consultant, you get the hair travel set, which is very cool. Those are activators. They've got multiples of those over the months. Lots of incentives. Some months where, because we're just naturally going to have growth, there won't necessarily be like a program incentive, but lots of fun things coming up. This is, I know you guys have seen it, but this is the new Champagne Fizz. They gifted us this, the Rose Champagne or Rosé Champagne. I've only tried a little bit of it. I actually need to open this and try it some more. But it was delicious. Like, it definitely has a champagne taste to it. Some people have said they feel like there's almost a little bit of like a raspberry champagne. I haven't drank enough champagne, to be honest, in my life to know the difference. It doesn't have any of like the dryness of champagne. Some people felt like they tasted a little bit of peach or pear in it. It's really, really good. I'm really excited about it. It has a little bit of more of that bubbliness of the champagne, which I think is very fun. This Champagne Fizz, along with the birthday bundle, which will have the marble cake protein. And I know there's a lot of people that are like so pumped about the protein. So circle back with those people. That's all going to launch Wednesday. So in 2 mornings at 6 a.m. PST, Pacific Standard Time. So that's 9 o'clock Eastern Time, 8 o'clock Central Time. My recommendation is to start collecting pre-orders so that you can find out how many they want, get their card information ready. It's up to you whether you want to offer any sort of a discount. I think that the bundle price and the Fizz, new flavor Fizz excitement is worth them using their preferred client accounts. It's just, even if you just do the preferred client account and you don't offer them your discount, so that you can make the commission, you can still place the order for them, like using the events program. And then that way too, you can collect event, like host rewards with it. But you're also just taking care of it. Arbonne is doing their very best, just like they did with, you know, Orange Fizz and things like that, to ensure that the website is sustainable for all of the impact that it's going to have. But as always, we want to be flexible and fluid, but we also want to be prepared. But I would recommend getting pre-orders, because with the reduced qualifications for district, this could really help people complete a promotion, just make some gains mid-month here. But I can just tell you, you can be ready to be excited all year long with always having some new news to reach back to your clients and your preferred clients with as we go. And yeah, everything that I saw, I was just really excited about. And I saw value in it, and I saw a reason behind it. And I really loved that. So that's a little bit about the new products. And I'm sure you guys saw that there is kind of a facelift to the website. It's not the new website yet, but it got a facelift. And the logo is a little bit different. They just took the dot off of, they call that the Arbonne logo. They call it the Arbonne bug. I don't really know why, but they thought the dot was a little disconnected from the rest of the bug. So they kind of cleaned that up and took the dot off. And then the font on Arbonne is just a little different. It's not much different, but it's a little different, cleaner look. Some people really can tell a difference. Some people cannot. Wherever you fall, it doesn't matter. But just know that that's part of all of the vision of moving forward with Group Crochet, just refining things, making things look as sharp as possible, making it cohesive, all of those things, which I love. So the last thing that I want to chat about here as we wrap up is really what is our team's focus for 2020? What do I believe that I want us as a group to, as a team, to really be moving together on, and here's a couple of them. I will tell you, there was a lot to take in. We obviously had all the girls with us, so I didn't have tons of time to process, but this is really a couple of the things. The first and kind of overarching thing, before the week even started, we landed, and I knew that it would probably feel like GTC in that there's just lots and lots of training, lots and lots of input, lots and lots of information. And I just asked the Lord if he would just make it really clear to me what were the main things I was supposed to take away from. And by the end of the second day of training, the words community and the words culture were like the overarching banner of what I feel I want our focus and our theme to be as a team for 2020. And really taking the messaging of community and culture versus, say, income and opportunity as we are leading out with reaching out to people, as we're having conversation with them, as we're making posts on social media, as we're going live, using those words, community and culture, versus just maybe predominantly using opportunity and income. And they're similar, and we're not going to not talk about the opportunity and the income because those are absolutely there. But I believe that we are living in a time, and they shared some slides that I thought were really interesting. And I think I'm going to have access to all of the slides, but just about how lonely people are, how disconnected people are. Like, we're connected on social media, we're connected with our phones, we can get a hold of people 24/7, but so many people are just feeling lonely. They're feeling like they don't have a place of belonging. They're not living maybe in the town that they grew up in. They're not really connected. Maybe they do go to church, maybe they don't, but even if they go to church, they don't really know anybody. They're just kind of like coming in and leaving. People are working in places where they're just going to work and leaving, but they don't really have relationships, and people, we're built for relationship, right? We were designed to have relationship. We're designed to be a part of communities. And so the community messaging is that it's a community for everyone, whether they want to have a really large part in the community, whether they want to be a leader in the community, whether they want to use this community to transform and change their life, there's a place for them. Or if there's somebody and they're just like, I want to be a part of the community because I want to come to your wellness or to your superfood suppers once a month, that's what they want the community for. Like, they come to a workout group, they just want to come to our dinners once a month. That's what I want them to know that they can absolutely be a part of. And then part of the culture of this community is that everyone would know that they're loved, valued, and seen. We all know that, right? You guys know that. You get on these huddles, you read the posts, you see that. But I want that being communicated when we do an event, whether in person or virtually, when we have a coffee appointment, that people leave feeling like, oh my gosh, that Arbonne gal was like, she was awesome. She was so friendly, and she took some time to ask me some questions about my family or my job. And gosh, she really cares. And like I left feeling valued and feeling seen, and they just leave feeling refreshed. Okay. We still are obviously going to communicate that there is an unbelievable opportunity and there is unbelievable income potential. They launched the MVP incentive trip that we can earn for next year. It's this like redonkulous world-class cruise around Italy and all of these European countries. For anyone that is currently an MVP or promotes to MVP in 2020, you can earn a growth income bonus of $25,000. There were 62 people that walked across the stage in Maui, and they each received a $20,000 bonus check. That is not happening anywhere else in the world. Okay, so just know that. So there is this great income, there is this great opportunity, but that's going to be because of the community and because of the culture. Okay, because like I said, people are more lonely than ever. Why do you think people are joining Pure Barre classes and working to get to 100 classes in a year? It's because then they get celebrated, and then they get their picture on Facebook, or they're just joining like CrossFit gyms. I'm not convinced that everybody that's in a CrossFit gym really loves it, but they're there because it's giving them friendship, it's giving them relationship, it's giving them some place of purpose, right? People want to be a part of something purposeful and valuable for themselves, but also feel like they're making a contribution or they're giving back in some way. Okay, so as a team, I haven't even gotten a chance to really chat with the leadership team about this, but we are going to be looking at and thinking through, praying about just ways to build community, so that it is evident to us and the team, but also it's something we can share with people, whether that's through events like in-person events or our virtual events, kind of how we reach out to people in our messaging, how we thank our clients, just lots of different things that I'm kind of really wanting to chat through. So if you've got some ideas and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm the community queen, I love community, I know how to build community, then share some of those ideas. Or if there's maybe something you're just like, I've always just wanted to have like people over to make like protein balls or things like that, because all of you can build your community locally where you are, and then you get to be a part of this bigger team wherever we are, right? But it's not just something that like, oh, if you're not in Louisville, you won't be able to build community and culture. This is something I want duplicated wherever we are, wherever our businesses grow. Okay. The second thing is that because I know now what's coming for 2020, I really want us as a team to be proactive and not squander the promotions and the incentives that Arbonne puts out. It's strategic. It's on purpose. Just like the reduced qualifications for district manager this month, there's purpose behind that. And the purpose behind it, if you don't know yet, is because they want you getting to district now so you can be a VP by the end of the year. That's what Arbonne home office, that's what Arbonne corporate wants, is for you to promote, for you to be successful, for you to get the Mercedes cash bonus, for you to get a bigger paycheck, right? So they're setting things in motion and in place. They're gifting us these incentives to say, this will take your business to the next level. This will elevate. So I don't want us to squander it and just feel like, oh, there's just another incentive. Oh, there's just another thing. It's very purposeful and very focused. We are only at the 13th of the month. There is so much time left for you to go promote to district, promote a district, or promote more than one district. Okay. So I want us to every month embrace, not criticize, not critique, not question, like, gosh, why are they having another incentive? Why are they doing another thing? They're doing it because they're wanting you to build a big business for yourself. They recognize that the only way they're going to grow is when we grow. This is like the most selfless company business opportunity you could be a part of. Okay. This has nothing to do with like, they want us to do this just so they grow. They only grow when we grow. And that is what I love. So just be, I guess I want to ask us to all have this attitude of when we find out about these promotions or these new things coming, to embrace them with a spirit and an attitude of like, yes, I'm all in, I'm going for it, and I'm going to see this incentive or this promotion through, even if it's hard for you to see it, even if you're not even like clear on exactly what it is, just really embracing it and running with it, and then inviting people to be a part of it in our community and our culture. And then the last thing is working every one of us to be 8 areas wide in 2020. And I know that that will stretch your vision, but we all, no matter where you are in your business, we all can cast a vision to a new person of getting to 10,000 in sales, that QV, to someone in their first month. Okay, it is believable. Sometimes 40,000, like getting to region in 1 month, like getting to having enough people that are on your team to get to 40,000 seems like, that seems like a lot, right? But I think that we can all agree that we can see 10,000. And it doesn't matter if you're currently an area manager or if you're a consultant or you're like, Missy, 8 areas, like I've been in Narbonne for 9 months and I'm still a consultant. It doesn't really matter where you are in your business. One of the biggest things is that you have to have the belief that it is possible. Whether you've seen it yet or not in your personal business is really not the point. The point is, can you see 10,000? Can you see how it breaks down? Can you see how people are doing it? I believed that National Vice President was possible long before I saw it personally, right? Because I saw, okay, that's 16 area managers, that's 16 people doing 10,000 in sales. I can see that. I don't personally have that. I'm not personally experiencing that. I personally haven't achieved that, but I can see I can see how that's possible. Okay, and so it's the same thing with area manager, that 10,000, oftentimes what is keeping someone from growing to area and then helping someone grow to area is a belief issue. Area manager breaks down with 4 people doing 2,500 in sales, or 2 people doing 5,000 in sales, or 10 people doing $1,000 in sales. $1,000 in sales, you guys, is 3 fit kits. Can you believe that, or nutrition kits, or whatever you want to call them? Can you like take a minute and believe, could I one day have a business where there are 10 people who find 3 people in 1 month to do the 30 days healthy living? Yes. The answer is a resounding yes, right? Okay. So if we can believe it, then we need to start sharing it. And we need to start sharing it and commit to it, which creates the consistency because we're clear on it. Going back to the quote on lack of consistency is tied to lack of commitment, which is tied to lack of clarity. This is clear. We get this. So now we're going to commit to it. And because we're committing to it, it's going to show up in our consistency. Okay? They on stage recognized NVPs who were 10 areas wide, and there wasn't but 2 handfuls of them. So you promote 8 areas wide. Linda Parker has said this for years, you'll be a national vice president. Not mathematically, because it's like, well, if there's only 8 people doing 10,000, but some of those areas will go on to do 20 and 30,000. And it will start to create a large enough business that you will be well on your way, if not well promoted into national vice president. Okay, so that's what I'm asking. That's what I want our focus to be for 2020. And here's the thing, you guys, when people get to area manager, they're making somewhere between that $1,000 to $4,000 a month. People deserve to have that be what we're sharing with them, that be what the opportunity is. That will feel like their business investment, their time investment is worth it. Okay, so that's what I wanted to share tonight. I do want to open it up for some questions, comments. I'm going to go through and read the chat since I'm on my phone. I couldn't read them. But if anybody has questions, comments, thoughts, just go ahead and unmute, and I'd love to hear them. Yeah, Nicole, so when I figured out the math, when they handed out that many checks for that amount, they gave away just in that one, I mean, it probably took less than 15 minutes because they were walking across the stage very quickly, like almost $1.3 million in just bonus checks. Just bonus checks, like so amazing. Yes, people do want to be a part of something purposeful. They just want to be a part of something. That's awesome, Dana. Yes, earning the trips are key because people want to go on trips. They want to be a part of something fun like that. And so they need to see that you're leading from the front in doing that. Yes, Lori, so many promotions coming. It's going to be amazing. Okay, awesome. Does anybody want to unmute, have any questions, comments, places I could clarify anything that I shared? If you don't, it's no problem. I just want to make time for everybody. Okay. I hope y'all are pumped up. I hope y'all are getting excited. I will tell you, one of the things that I did was years ago, I printed off and I put like just kind of like in a image thing that I put on a Word document. And I printed it off, pictures of Maui, of the resort, of the pools, of the Arbonne MVP thing. And it looked kind of goofy, but I taped it to the wall beside my bed, at my bed level, just this piece of paper. Because I always wanted to be reminding myself of where I was going and what I was working towards. And this, I probably started 5 years ago. And so that's going to be a big thing. We're going to give you guys, share some more details in the next couple of days about the vision board night that we're going to do. Connect in with who's ever local in your area. If you're like, I am the Lone Ranger, then you're going to plug in with us Zoom. What I can tell you all is if you are feeling like a Lone Ranger and you're like, there is no one around me, being a pioneer of something in your area is one of the most exciting things that you get to be a part of. And so you can look at being a pioneer or a Lone Ranger as like, this is harder, I'm lonely, I'm by myself, I wish I could be with the groups of people. But every time people have started building Arbonne in a place where there wasn't much Arbonne presence, they have always raised their leadership lid quicker. I have seen this happen every time than someone who is building in an area where there's lots of Arbonne leadership and lots of Arbonne presence. And also realize most everyone that comes into Arbonne is going to be connected to you somehow. Like Linda Hefner was one of the very first people in all of the state of Kentucky. And for some of you don't know, she is our direct upline. Almost everybody in Kentucky, and then that spreads to like all the countries, and all these crazy MVPs are somehow connected to her business because she was willing to go first. She was willing to pioneer. She was willing to be a Lone Ranger. And so just embrace that and see the benefits and the excitement in that, and not any of the drawbacks to it. Okay. So anyways, all right. Love you all so much. If nobody has anything, we are going to hop off here and call it a night, and I will post it. So anyways, I hope you guys are excited for the vision. I hope you can get kind of on board with the focus for 2020 and what I believe that this team is called to. I just think we're going to take this thing next level, and people are just going to be so attracted to who we are and what we're offering, that we will be blown away by people saying, can I come be a part? Can I do this with you? Show me how, because they're going to see what we have to offer. So anyways, love you all so much. Thanks for hopping on tonight, and we'll be in touch.